Welcome back to U.S. Visa Corner, where we bring you the most critical immigration updates that can directly impact your life in the United States. Today, we are discussing something absolutely vital that every green card holder needs to know about immediately. If you are a lawful permanent resident planning to travel internationally, or if you have recently traveled outside the United States, what we are about to share could save you from serious complications at the border. This is not just another routine update. This is a game-changing policy shift that takes effect on December 26th, and if you are not prepared, you could face delays, questioning, or even denial of entry when returning to your adopted homeland. The stakes have never been higher for green card holders who travel internationally. Starting December 26th, new travel requirements will fundamentally change how lawful permanent residents navigate their international journeys. These changes represent the most significant update to green card travel regulations in recent years, and understanding them is not optional anymore. It is absolutely essential. Whether you are planning a short vacation to visit family abroad, an extended business trip, or simply considering future travel, the information we are covering today will determine whether your return to the United States is smooth and hassle-free or becomes a nightmare scenario at Customs and Border Protection. At Visa Corner, we have been tracking these developments closely, consulting with immigration experts, reviewing official documentation from United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, and speaking with Customs and Border Protection officials to bring you the most accurate and comprehensive breakdown of what these new requirements mean for you. We know that immigration law can be confusing, overwhelming, and sometimes downright terrifying, especially when changes happen quickly and without much warning. That is exactly why we exist, to cut through the bureaucratic language, eliminate the confusion, and give you practical, actionable information that you can use to protect your immigration status and your future in America. The new travel requirements affect millions of green card holders across the United States. We are talking about lawful permanent residents from every country of origin, every age group, every profession, and every corner of this nation. Whether you received your green card last month or 20 years ago, whether you travel frequently or rarely leave the country, these changes apply to you. There are no exceptions based on how long you have held your green card, which category you received it under, or how established you are in the United States. This universal application means that every single person watching this video who holds a green card needs to pay attention to what comes next. Let us talk about what exactly is changing. The new requirements center around documentation, verification, advanced notification systems, and enhanced screening procedures for returning lawful permanent residents. Starting December 26th, green card holders will need to ensure their documentation meets updated standards that reflect technological advances and security enhancements implemented by the Department of Homeland Security. This means that the physical green card you carry must be current, readable, and contain specific security features that older versions may lack. If your green card was issued more than 10 years ago, or if it shows signs of damage, wear, or fading that could affect the ability of scanning equipment to read the embedded information, you may encounter significant problems when attempting to re-enter the United States. The technological component of these new requirements cannot be understated. Modern border security relies heavily on biometric verification, database cross-referencing, and real-time information validation. Your green card contains an embedded chip that stores your biographical information, fingerprints, and photograph. When you present your card at a port of entry, sophisticated readers scan this chip and instantly compare the stored data against multiple government databases. If the chip is damaged, if the card is too worn to scan properly, or if there are discrepancies between the physical card and the digital information, you will be flagged for secondary inspection. This process can take hours and may result in you missing connecting flights, facing intensive questioning, or in worst-case scenarios, being denied entry pending further investigation. Beyond the physical condition of your green card, the new requirements also involve advanced travel notification protocols. While this has always been recommended for extended absences from the United States, the December 26th implementation makes certain notifications more formalized and, in some cases, mandatory. Green card holders planning to spend more than 6 months outside the United States will need to take specific steps before departing to demonstrate their intention to maintain permanent residence. This includes gathering documentation that proves your ties to the United States, such as property ownership records, employment letters, tax returns, utility bills in your name, bank statements showing ongoing financial activity, and evidence of family members residing in the country. The 6-month threshold is particularly critical because it represents a key marker in immigration law regarding abandonment of permanent residence. When you stay outside the United States for more than 6 months, immigration officials can begin to question whether you truly intend to make America your permanent home. The new requirements formalize the documentation standards you will need to overcome this presumption. Simply having a green card is no longer sufficient proof of your intention to reside permanently in the United States if you have been abroad for an extended period. You must be prepared to demonstrate through concrete evidence that your life remains centered in America despite your physical absence. For those who anticipate being outside the United States for a year or more, the requirements become even more stringent. In these cases, you should apply for a re-entry permit before leaving the country. A re-entry permit is a travel document issued by United States Citizenship and Immigration Services that allows you to remain outside the country for up to 2 years without abandoning your permanent resident status. The application process requires biometric collection, which means you must be physically present in the United States when you file and when you provide your fingerprints. Under the new requirements taking effect December 26th, the importance of obtaining this document for extended absences is being emphasized more strongly than ever before, and failure to have one when attempting to return after a prolonged absence could result in a finding that you have abandoned your permanent residence. The concept of abandonment is perhaps the most frightening aspect of these new requirements for many green card holders. Abandonment occurs when immigration officials determine that you no longer intend to make the United States your permanent home. This determination is based on the totality of circumstances, including how long you have been outside the country, why you were away, what ties you maintained to the United States during your absence, and whether you took steps to preserve your status. A finding of abandonment means you lose your green card and all the rights that come with it. You would no longer be authorized to live and work in the United States, and you would need to start the immigration process over from the beginning if you wanted to return as a permanent resident. The enhanced screening procedures being implemented on December 26th give Customs and Border Protection officers more tools and more authority to investigate potential abandonment cases. Officers will have access to expanded databases that track your travel history, employment records, tax filings, property transactions, and even social media activity. They can use this information to build a comprehensive picture of where you actually spend your time and where your true home is located. If the evidence suggests that you have established your primary residence in another country, that you spend the majority of your time abroad, or that your connections to the United States are minimal or non-existent, you may be determined to have abandoned your permanent residence regardless of what you claim or intend. Let us discuss some specific scenarios that will be particularly affected by these new requirements. If you are a green card holder who works internationally and travels frequently for business, you need to establish a clear pattern that demonstrates the United States remains your home base. This means maintaining a permanent residence here that you return to regularly, filing tax returns as a resident, keeping your driver's license current, maintaining bank accounts and credit cards with United States addresses, and documenting that your trips abroad are temporary work assignments rather than relocations. Under the new requirements, you should be prepared to present evidence of this pattern every time you return to the United States, including employment letters that specify the temporary nature of your international assignments, travel itineraries showing frequent returns, and documentation of your continuing residential ties. For students who hold green cards and wish to study abroad, the new requirements create additional challenges. Extended study programs in other countries can easily exceed 6 months or even a year, which raises immediate red flags regarding abandonment of permanent residence. If you are planning to pursue education outside the United States, you must take proactive steps before leaving, including applying for a re-entry permit, maintaining a permanent address in the United States where you can receive mail, keeping active bank accounts, filing tax returns, and, if possible, maintaining some form of employment or business activity in America. You should also be prepared to explain why you chose to study abroad rather than in the United States, and demonstrate that you intend to return and use your education to build a career here. Family circumstances often necessitate extended international travel, and these situations will be scrutinized more carefully under the new requirements. If you need to care for an ill parent abroad, attend to family business matters, or spend time with relatives in your country of origin, you must carefully document the circumstances that required your presence and the temporary nature of your absence. This includes medical records showing the nature of the illness you were addressing, death certificates if you were handling estate matters, business documents showing the specific issues that required your attention, and evidence that these matters have been or are being resolved in a way that allows you to return permanently to the United States. Immigration officials understand that family emergencies happen, but under the new requirements, they will expect you to prove that you took steps to resolve these matters as quickly as possible and return to your permanent home in America. The documentation standards under the new requirements are more demanding than what many green card holders are accustomed to. It is no longer sufficient to simply present your green card and answer a few basic questions about where you traveled. You should be prepared to provide a comprehensive package of evidence that demonstrates your continuing ties to the United States and your intention to maintain permanent residence. This package should include tax returns from recent years showing you filed as a United States resident, utility bills proving you maintain a residence, employment verification letters, property ownership documents, vehicle registration, insurance policies, bank statements, credit card statements, and evidence of family members who reside in the United States. The more evidence you can provide, the less likely you are to face extended questioning or denial of entry. Technology plays a crucial role in the new requirements, and green card holders need to ensure their documentation is compatible with the latest scanning and verification systems. The green card itself has evolved significantly over the years, with newer versions containing advanced security features, biometric chips, and enhanced encoding that older cards lack. If you are carrying an older version of the green card, it may not scan properly with updated equipment at ports of entry, which automatically flags you for secondary inspection. While you are legally entitled to enter the United States with any valid green card, regardless of when it was issued, the practical reality is that older cards create processing delays and increase scrutiny. If your green card is more than 10 years old, you should seriously consider applying for a replacement card before the December 26th implementation date to ensure compatibility with the new verification systems. The application process for renewing or replacing a green card involves filing Form I-90 with United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, paying the required fees, and attending a biometric appointment to provide updated fingerprints and photographs. Processing times for these applications can vary significantly depending on the service center handling your case and current processing volumes. In some cases, you may receive your new card within a few months, while in others, it could take 6 months or longer. Given that the new requirements take effect on December 26th, any green card holder planning to travel internationally in the near future should initiate the renewal process immediately if their card is approaching expiration or shows signs of damage. Waiting until the last minute creates the risk that you will be traveling with inadequate documentation when the new requirements are enforced. The financial implications of these new requirements should not be overlooked. Replacing a green card costs several $100s in filing fees, and if you need expedited processing or legal assistance with your application, the costs increase substantially. For families with multiple green card holders, renewing everyone's documentation can represent a significant expense. However, the cost of compliance is far less than the potential consequences of being denied entry to the United States or being found to have abandoned your permanent residence. If financial constraints make it difficult to renew your green card, you should explore whether you qualify for a fee waiver based on your income level, or consider prioritizing the renewal above other expenses given the critical importance of maintaining valid documentation. The new requirements also emphasize the importance of understanding the rules regarding travel for recently approved green card holders. If you received your green card within the past year, you need to be particularly careful about international travel. Spending extended time outside the United States shortly after receiving permanent residence can create a strong impression that you never intended to actually live in America and that you obtained your green card under false pretenses. Immigration officials look very skeptically at new green card holders who immediately leave the country for months at a time. Under the new requirements, such patterns will trigger intensive scrutiny and may result in proceedings to revoke your permanent residence on the grounds that you committed fraud in obtaining it. If you are a new permanent resident, you should establish a clear pattern of residency in the United States before undertaking any extended international travel, ideally remaining in the country for at least the first year after receiving your green card. Special considerations apply to conditional permanent residents, those who received their green cards through marriage to a United States citizen and have not yet had the conditions removed. The new requirements affect conditional residents in unique ways because they already face additional scrutiny regarding the bona fide nature of their marriage. Extended absences from the United States can raise questions not only about abandonment of residence, but also about whether the marriage itself is genuine. If you are a conditional permanent resident planning international travel, you should be especially meticulous in documenting that you and your spouse maintain a life together in the United States, that any travel is temporary, and that you remain in a legitimate marital relationship. This includes evidence that you and your spouse live together at a United States address, share financial accounts and obligations, and are building a shared life in America. The impact of these new requirements extends beyond individual travelers to families and communities. When one family member encounters problems at the border due to documentation issues or concerns about abandonment, it affects everyone. Children may be separated from parents, spouses may face unexpected delays, and extended family members who depend on the green card holder may find themselves without support. Understanding and complying with the new requirements is therefore not just about protecting your own status, but about ensuring stability and security for everyone who relies on you. Taking the time now to review your documentation, assess your travel patterns, and make any necessary adjustments will provide peace of mind for you and your loved ones. Employers who rely on green card holders as employees also need to understand these new requirements. If your workforce includes lawful permanent residents who travel internationally for business purposes, you should work with these employees to ensure they have proper documentation, understand the new requirements, and are prepared to demonstrate that their travel is work-related and temporary. Providing employment verification letters, travel authorization documents, and clear explanations of business purposes can help your employees navigate the enhanced screening procedures more smoothly. Companies that fail to support their permanent resident employees in this way may find that valuable team members are delayed at the border or face challenges returning from business trips, disrupting operations and projects. The new requirements also create opportunities for green card holders to strengthen their immigration status by taking proactive steps that go beyond the minimum compliance standards. Consider this an opportunity to evaluate your overall ties to the United States and identify areas where you can create additional evidence of your permanent residency. This might include purchasing property if you currently rent, opening additional bank accounts or investment accounts, obtaining a driver's license if you rely on public transportation, registering to vote in local elections if you are eligible, joining community organizations or professional associations, or enrolling children in school. Each of these actions creates a documentary record that demonstrates your integration into American society and your intention to make the United States your permanent home. For those who discover that their green card needs to be renewed or that they lack sufficient documentation to satisfy the new requirements, the time to act is now. December 26th may seem like a distant date, but immigration applications can take months to process, and any delays or requests for additional evidence can extend timelines significantly. Starting the process today gives you the best chance of having everything in order before the implementation date. If you are unsure about what documentation you need or whether your green card meets current standards, consult with an immigration attorney or accredited representative who can assess your specific situation and provide personalized guidance. While there is a cost associated with professional legal advice, the investment is worthwhile given the high stakes involved in maintaining your permanent resident status. The broader context of these new requirements reflects ongoing efforts by the United States government to modernize immigration enforcement, enhance border security, and ensure that permanent residence truly reflects what the name implies: a permanent commitment to living in America. These goals are not inherently problematic, and most green card holders who genuinely maintain the United States as their home will not face significant difficulties under the new requirements. However, the implementation of enhanced screening procedures and stricter documentation standards means that borderline cases, ambiguous situations, and individuals who have allowed their ties to the United States to weaken will face greater scrutiny and higher risks. The message from immigration authorities is clear. Permanent residence is a privilege that comes with responsibilities, including the responsibility to actually maintain permanent residence in the United States. Looking ahead beyond December 26th, it is likely that these requirements will continue to evolve as technology advances and immigration priorities shift. Green card holders should develop a habit of staying informed about policy changes, reviewing their documentation regularly, and maintaining robust evidence of their ties to the United States. Immigration law is not static, and what is sufficient today may not be adequate tomorrow. By adopting a proactive approach to managing your permanent resident status, you position yourself to adapt to future changes and protect the immigration benefits you have worked so hard to obtain. This means regularly checking official sources for updates, subscribing to reliable immigration news services, and, when in doubt, consulting with qualified professionals who can provide current and accurate information. The human dimension of these new requirements cannot be forgotten amid all the discussion of documentation, procedures, and compliance. For many green card holders, permanent residence represents the culmination of years or even decades of effort, sacrifice, and hope. It represents the opportunity to build a better life, provide security for your family, pursue your dreams, and contribute to American society. The prospect of losing that status due to technical documentation issues or misunderstanding travel requirements is genuinely frightening. That fear is valid, and it is precisely why education and preparation are so important. By taking the time to understand these new requirements, assess your situation honestly, and take the necessary steps to ensure compliance, you protect not just a piece of plastic but everything that Green Card represents: your future, your family's future, and your place in the American story. As we approach the December 26th implementation date, the team here at Visa Corner will continue monitoring developments, providing updates if additional guidance is issued, and answering your questions about how these requirements apply to your specific circumstances. We encourage you to remain engaged, ask questions when you are uncertain, and never hesitate to seek clarification rather than making assumptions that could jeopardize your status. Immigration law is complex, and the consequences of mistakes are severe, but with proper information and careful planning, you can navigate these new requirements successfully. This is exactly why Visa Corner exists: to empower you with knowledge, to demystify complicated immigration processes, and to ensure that you have the information you need to protect yourself and your family. We have built this channel to be your trusted source for immigration updates, your guide through confusing policy changes, and your advocate in a system that often seems designed to overwhelm rather than assist. Every video we create, every update we share, every question we answer is driven by our commitment to your success and your security in the United States. We know that behind every green card is a human story of courage, determination, and hope, and we consider it our privilege to support you in protecting those dreams. If you found this information valuable, and we sincerely hope you did, please take a moment to subscribe to Visa Corner. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an important update that could affect your immigration status. Share this video with friends, family members, co-workers, and anyone else you know who holds a green card, because this information is too important to keep to yourself. The more people who understand these new requirements, the fewer individuals will face problems at the border, and the stronger our immigrant community becomes. Leave us a comment below telling us about your travel experiences, your concerns about the new requirements, or any questions you have that we can address in future videos. Your engagement helps us create better content and ensures that we are covering the topics that matter most to you. Remember that immigration status is precious and fragile. It can take years to obtain, but can be lost in a single moment of carelessness or misunderstanding. The new travel requirements taking effect on December 26th represent a significant shift in how permanent residence is monitored and enforced, and every green card holder needs to take them seriously. But with preparation, documentation, and awareness, you can continue to travel internationally while maintaining your permanent resident status and protecting your future in the United States. At Visa Corner, we will be with you every step of the way, providing the information, support, and guidance you need to thrive in your adopted homeland. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay connected with Visa Corner, your ultimate resource for all things immigration. Until next time, travel safely, document thoroughly, and never forget that knowledge is your best protection in navigating the complex world of United States immigration law.